everybody, my name is Ryan. This is my review of Westworld Season 1, Episode 7. We are finally getting to answers. This is my first review of the show, so we're going to be talking about theories that I haven't got a chance to talk about before, because I started watching the series yesterday, and I'm obsessed with it, and I've been on the Reddit and everything. Point is, we're going to be talking about theories in this video, as well as reviews. This is the first of what will be weekly, as long as you guys like this, so if you want more, share, whatever. Moving on, this episode was fantastic. There's big reveals at the end. HBO again uses doors as a big reveal method. We got Tessa Thompson in this episode in a bigger way than last week, and I think everything is building to answers much better, and I'm really enjoying it. Let's get into it. This is Nerd. So, starting off with what we have to talk about first, and that is that Bernard, spoiler alert, is a host. And that was the big reveal of the episode, and it's the only thing I've seen anyone talking about this episode. It's really weird because there was stuff that happened in this episode. There was stuff that, as the episode was going by, I was thinking, there's stuff happening, and I'm really enjoying it. There's a whole lot of things that I couldn't wait to talk about. Maeva is still a character that I love. Tessa Thompson is fantastic, and this is the first thing I'm seeing her in, and she's great. So I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this. And then everything's kind of blown out of the way by two words, and that's, what door? And when Bernard can't see the door, you kind of start to clue into it. Everyone was either thinking, holy shit, this means everything, or holy shit, this means everything, but maybe he just can't see it because it's a little dark in the room. That was everyone's mindset that I can see, at least, that I was seeing on Twitter and everything. I think that I was partially more like, maybe he just can't see it. He's not looking at it. And it's kind of dark in there, and then we kind of start getting to things like he's saying, I don't know, I can't see anything. It doesn't look like anything to me. I said, that was when it kind of all clicked together, that Bernard is a host, and that was such a big moment because I feel like we've been seeing theories like, what if this guy's a host? What if this guy's a host? What if they're actually robots? And I'm like, yeah, that would be a good twist to do, because just having people turn out to be robots would be fantastic. And it was also kind of how we started the show. We start off with Teddy, played by James Marsden, and he's going through, and you know, we kind of think that we know who this guy is. He's presented as a guest at first, and then he turns out to be a host. The guest, or human in general, being a host is a twist we've kind of been doing since the first 5 minutes of the series. So I feel like Bernard, there's a lot of evidence suggesting that, yes, some of these people are going to be hosts, and I think that that's very interesting. If you had to ask me who else I think is a host, without thinking about it too much, just thinking about supporting other theories, my initial thought would be Stubbs. And I say that because one of the arguments I've seen against the two timelines theory, that William is the past version of the Man in Black, is that Stubbs talked to both of them. He talked to both William and the Man in Black, or at least he was talking around them in the control panel. He was authorizing things, he was talking about things that they were doing, and he looked the same. People were saying that if he looked the same, like, he has to age, he's a human. Now that we have Ford just kind of making people like that are hosts, we kind of open the door to maybe Stubbs isn't human, and like, this is very tinfoily. I haven't thought this through that much. Keep that in mind. The point is, it's just my first instinct that maybe to support the William, or maybe Logan, being Men in Black, is the Man in Black, is that maybe Stubbs is going to be AI, he's going to be a host. That's just a theory I have. Let's go through more parts of this episode. Because we haven't really gotten to review it. We're just kind of theorizing, because this show is super fucking mysterious. Bernard, in this episode, he was really interesting. We start off with him and Charlie. You know, that's interesting. We're getting more backstory to him, which of course makes sense now, because he's a host. And just the fact that we have him, we're seeing this emotional moment with his son, it adds more to that character, and I like that. And I feel like at some point we're going to have something like that, but now that we get it here, I feel like that was probably the biggest hint that shit's going to go down with Bernard in this episode, and to reveal that, yes, he's a host, that feels appropriate. I really like that kind of, that twist, and how they kind of presented it, and how the episode built up to it by starting off with like a, hey, now you care about Bernard moment, and I really enjoyed that, so I'm glad that we had that moment at the beginning, and it just added to everything that was happening later. And Teresa in this episode, I think that they also did a good job of foreshadowing that a little bit. One of Teresa's first scenes is when she meets Charlotte, or not meets Charlotte, but she's talking to Charlotte for the first time in the episode, and she sees her fucking a host, and she's a little judgy. And then she ends up to actually have been fucking a host for a long time. So, again, you're kind of tying stuff together there, and I like it. I like the foreshadowing that kind of makes you think that maybe they're going to have more layers onto here. And looking back at it, it's going to be like, that's kind of a cool moment. Because either it's like, hey, it's adding backstory, or hey, that's very hypocritical, but you don't know it yet. Charlotte and Teresa's scene was fantastic, because I haven't seen Tessa Thompson in anything I can think of before, and seeing her in this, I love this woman. She's fantastic. I think that this is a terrific actress. I think the lines being written for her are fantastic. And I think just the way she's reading these lines, as well as like the lines she's being given, it's all great. I love Charlotte as a character so far. I feel like I'm going a little too far into her, but the point is, just her saying things like, I'm not surprised easily, Bernard, but this is fucking breathtaking. Like, it's a really good line, and she read it really well. I like how they had all that work out. I like how the words transition through the actor, which is something that you don't see always the best happen in shows, and that annoys me. But to have it, like, so great, like, that line by itself isn't the best. When it comes out of her, it's fantastic, and I really like that. It's one of my favorite moments. But also, her kind of, she seems to know what's going on. She has an idea of what to do, how to kind of get Ford out of here. She is really smart. And in TV, it's always better to see smart characters than dumb characters. Haha, dumb character, sitcom, whatever. But to have characters know what they're doing, and a character like her who is so forward-thinking and so, like, take charge, is fun to see, and I really like that, and I really liked her scene with Teresa because it kind of built up that she's that kind of character, so I really enjoyed that. Maeva in this episode continues to be one of my favorite characters in this show because, yeah, she's also super smart. Her British voice in, yeah, when she's talking to Felix is super take charge. She is making them her bitch, and I think it's fantastic. She is our best example of a sentient host, and I think that she's just kind of very dangerous right now, and she's really great. I like how she is so demanding and so take charge, again, to use that term again, with Felix. I think that it adds a lot, because he's saying things like slow down, she's just kind of doing what she wants, and it's great. She's definitely not the smartest, because they literally made her smarter. I think with that is just adding more to her character and the kind of way I like her. Also, beyond her character just being fantastic, you're adding more levels to it by making her self-aware and having that be an interesting kind of perspective to see. Because we're of course waiting for these things to become self-aware, for Terminator to happen, for Judgment Day to kind of come down and strike all these, like, just make everything go to shit. But to have this character who is self-aware, who has forced them to make her smarter, just throwing in things like that, throwing in that perspective, makes this better, and I like that we have this character in it, and it's fun to see her, and especially the path that she went down to get here is interesting, and I really like that. Moving on to William and Dolores, and maybe Men in Black, 2 timelines, whatever. So I know a lot of people hate the 2 timelines theory. We're going to talk about it because I think it's likely. As soon as I kind of saw all this happening with William and different logos and stuff, it just made me feel like this isn't really lining up with what's happening, and the biggest tip-offs for me about the 2 timeline thing were, this seems very different than other stuff we're seeing. When he comes to Westworld, we aren't seeing like Bernard and Ford, and I don't think we have to see them, but we aren't, so that's a red flag. There's the different logos, which I thought is slightly weird, but again, is just, it could be anything. It's just kind of weird that there are the different logos. And then of course we have, William and Logan. It's sort of telling their origin story. They're presented in a way that is very representative of the 2 main characters in the movie, which I thought was really interesting. It just made them seem like they're going to be super important. And to show this guy going to Westworld for the first time, and we also have this guy who's been coming here for 30 years, who we don't know his backstory to, it is interesting because now you're left kind of thinking like, maybe William is filling in the blanks here, and we're being told the origin story of the Man in Black while still seeing the Man in Black's current story fold out. Kind of a Godfather Part 2, splitting, like going back and forth type thing, which I really enjoy. So I'm hoping that that's it. I know a lot of people would hate if that's it, but that's kind of the path I'm hoping they go down right now, because I just think that would be fun to have, like, the big reveal that a lot of people are talking about, that, hey, two timelines weirdly edited and everything. I think it'd be cool at the very least. Dolores and William, I think that they were really good in this episode. Their romantic relationship feels like it's being built up to very organically, which I like. The music is adding a lot to that, and I'm not totally sure William's the Man in Black, but from a narrative sense, it really makes sense that he would be. And the weird thing is, I can see him and Logan each being the Man in Black. Looking at clue-wise, when we first see Logan, he's wearing all black. He seemingly already loves this place. His father owns this big company, and we know that he owns some kind of big company, and we know that the Man in Black owns some kind of company that helped some guy's sister stay alive. Maybe it's like a charity thing. The point is that maybe a future version of Logan owns this company now and is taking it over from his dad. So, who knows exactly what's happening there. But, I feel like hint-wise, and just kind of looking at those small subtle things, maybe Logan is kind of a better candidate. But looking at narrative-wise, connection to Dolores, I think William is a better candidate. So, comment that down below. What do you think about that? You can say what you want to. The escaping the train, when they all get off the train, it's really cool, and I really like that getaway. But the Gatling gun, it was really cool last week. I gotta say, I was really hyped about that last week, especially after seeing Magnificent 7. I was like, yes, Gatling guns, Old West, awesome. But the fact that it couldn't hit anything just kind of pisses me off a lot. It's the Stormtrooper effect of, these things can't shoot for shit, why are we so afraid of it? They're speeding away on their horses, and yes, it can't hit William, but it can hit the other two, or at the very least, it could have just hit one of the horses. That, to me, would have been like, oh, right, at least it hit something instead of missing literally everything. And also, these hosts can be reset. Lawrence literally just goes away towards this episode after being like, hey, there's nothing over there, by the way, he might die. That's all the purpose he serves later in this episode. So I feel like maybe we just kill him off in this, have him come back later. You're not really messing too much up if you just shoot Lawrence to prove that you can shoot someone with this fucking Gatling gun. That was one thing that kind of bothered me about the episode. I really enjoyed this. What do you think, though? You can comment all your thoughts down below, all your theories, your predictions. We're getting close to the end. I'm terribly sorry I didn't start reviewing this earlier because I'm loving this. What do you think? You want more? Subscribe for weekly reviews of Westworld as long as this video gets views, numbers. It's an analytic game. Point is, if you want more, give this video a like, subscribe, and I will do more. And I'll see you all next time.